Okay. Hello, everybody. So today we will be exploring part two of our class. Okay. So we'll get straight right to it. So this was where we were in the last class. So let's do a quick recap of what we learned in the last class. So we learned about computer hardware, software, memory, CPU, hard disks, components of the computer, input, output, okay, software, system softwares and application softwares. We also learned about how the computer stores data in the memory. Okay, these are all data. And before computer will store any data in the memory, the computer will first convert the data into binary, as you can see here, because computer cannot speak our language or understand us, right? So for example, this data, it will be saved inside the computer as a binary code. And the binary code for this will be bits 01010110. You see, these bits, each of them representing this information. And the data will be stored in a particular place called a memory location. And the number of the memory location is like number 86, okay, memory location. And these bits, okay, 8 of these bits become 1 byte. 8 bits become 1 byte, okay? So that is how computer stores information, okay? In bits, 8 bits or 1 byte in a place called memory location or memory address, okay? So all these things you see here, all these are all memory address. Memory address. It's a memory address. It's a memory address. These are all memory addresses. Okay. And the representation in binary of this data is in binary like this. Okay. So we looked at that in our previous class. See, these are all memory locations. All of these are memory locations for these empty cells, okay? Because it is in these cells that data will be stored, right? So when new data is stored, it will be assigned into one cell. Okay, so we talked about how 1,000 bytes makes a kilobyte, 1 million bytes makes a megabyte, then 1 billion gigabyte, 1 trillion terabyte, okay, 1 quadrillion. Okay, that is how memory gets to increase and increase. So whatever data you want to store in your memory, depending on the file size, it will be allocated several hundreds or thousands or millions of bytes, megabytes, gigabytes, kilobytes. That is how memory is being allocated. All right, then we spoke about the levels of languages. Okay, we have the machine language, the assembly language, and the high-level language. So when I ask you, what are the levels of languages, you should be able to tell me machine language, assembly language, and higher level language, okay? Machine languages are in zeros and one, Okay, this is the language the computer understands. It does not understand us. Then we have assembly language. Okay, then we have higher level language. This is the language. It's not human language per se, but it's very close to human language. Human can understand the logic of higher level language. And it can now be used as by a compiler to translate and interpreter to translate into zeros and one, the machine language, the language the computer understands. Okay. So let's proceed. Okay. So each type of, like I said, computer only understand 0 and 1. That's the language of the computer. But when we write our programming code, our Java code, okay, you need a compiler and an interpreter to convert it into machine language. Okay, you see, this is the machine language, zeros and one. Okay, machine don't need a translator to understand 0 and 1. So if you can speak machine language 001100, it's very easy for you to communicate with the computer. Or if you cannot speak it, then you need a language called the higher level language, okay? Like Java, Visual Basic, PHP, C++, C Sharp, C, Pascal, JavaScript. These are high level languages, okay? Very similar to the human language. And then we can write programs in this language and tell the computer we want to calculate 3 plus 4, easy. Then with compiler and interpreter, we can translate it into machine language, then the computer can understand and execute. Okay. We also learned about syntax errors. We also learned about syntax errors in the last class, okay? And like I told you, syntax is errors in programming, okay? In English, errors are called grammatical errors, okay? The rules to follow in Java programming is called syntax. The rules to follow in English or in Chinese or whatever language is called grammar. Yes. So when you make grammar error, it's called grammatical errors, right? In programming, there's no grammatical errors. It's called syntax error. So you need to follow the rules. So syntax are the rules you must follow to write a programming language or Java programming language. Because every language, whether it's English, Chinese, Java language, high-level language, they all have rules that you must follow, okay? And then you have the runtime error, errors that if you have the error, the program cannot execute. The program will stop, it will crash. It will say, oh, there is a problem with this code. We cannot run this code. Fix it before we can run the code. That is called runtime error. Runtime error are errors that would not run when there is runtime error. If there's a runtime error, the program will stop. It will not execute because you need to fix the runtime error. For logical errors, it will run, it will execute, everything will look normal, but your answer will be wrong because you made some mistake in the calculation. Okay, maybe you did not put multiply symbol, multiplication, you put addition, or you put subtraction, or you put division, or some mistake in the calculation. Okay, your answer will become wrong. So because you have wrong answer, that means you have logical error. error from logic. Okay, that is logical error, the three types of error. So you must know the difference. Okay. So I have explained this. Then we also did this exercise in the last class. So today we will be looking at Java language programming. Okay, so Java programming was created by Sun Microsoft Systems. Okay, it started in 1995 and became so famous over the years. Okay, it has a rich library, and the platform is it is platform independent. That means it can run on any platform, and it can be run easily on the internet. So that is why a lot of applications and programs are being written in Java applets so that it is easily run on the internet. Okay, so what happens to a Java code after you write your code? Okay, how does it move from Java language source code to zeros and one machine language? Okay, there's a step-by-step approach to it. So your source code, after you develop your source code, you compile your source code. The compiler will change your source code into byte code. Okay, so now your byte code still is not in zeros and one. It's not a machine language yet. You need an interpreter. The interpreter will interpret your byte code into zeros and one computer language that the computer can understand, and then the computer will execute your program. Okay, you can see it from here. Java compiler translates Java source code into something called a byte code. See, but this byte code can still not be understood by the machine or the computer because byte code is not 0 and 1. Okay, so you need another software called the interpreter. This interpreter will now convert your byte code, translate the byte code into machine code and execute it. Okay, then everything will run normally because now the interpreter has interpreted all the byte code into zeros and one. Okay, so you don't need to worry about interpreter and compiler because these days the JDKs and the IDE already have all the softwares combined. Okay, so all you just need to do is click one button and everything will be compiled and interpreted. Okay, previously, if you write your source code, you need to download one software for compiler. You need to download another software for interpreter. So you need to be doing this conversion one by one. But now everything is made easy in the software. Okay. So you see your Java source code, the program will be compiled by the Java compiler, and you will get your byte code. Your byte code will now be also interpreted by the bytecode interpreter, and then you get your machine code, which will now execute properly. So after compiling your Java code, Java program into bytecode, this bytecode can be used on any computer that have interpreter. And bytecode can be sent over the internet and used anywhere in the world. That is why Java is suitable for internet applications. Okay, that is why everyone is learning how to use Java. All right. So there are common elements of programming language or words that you must learn or you must know. Okay, the first one is Java keywords. Second one is operators. Next is punctuations. Next is programmer defined names. And the next is syntax. You already know what is syntax. Syntax means rule. Rule you must follow in programming or in any language, right? So syntax, these are rules that must be followed when writing a program. Very simple. You all know syntax already, okay? Syntax dictates how keyword operators are used. It grammar error or grammar in English, it dictates when to use subject, object, verb, where to put it, okay? Same with syntax. It dictates where to put your punctuation, where to put your keywords, where to put everything. That is the job of syntax. Keywords, on the other hand, keywords are special words. Okay, they have special meaning and special function. Okay, you can only use keywords in Java for special purpose and special objectives. All right. Give me 1 second, 1 minute. I need to check something. Just 1 second. I'll be back. Yeah. All right. So they are reserved words. Keywords are reserved words. Okay, you can only use keywords. You can only use reserved words for special function and special purpose. You cannot use it for everything. Okay, just for special purpose and special words. Okay, let us look at some examples of keywords. Okay, these are some examples of Java keywords. Okay, abstract, constant, final, integer, public, throw, assert, continue, finally, interface, long, okay, integer, long, null, if, else if, okay, true, false. For example, a lot of you already know how to use the if function. If this is this, then this, else this. You see, you use if and else if. These are special keywords for conditional statements. Okay, if this, then this, else do this. So these are conditional statements. Keywords are being used in this place. Okay, so I cannot say, for example, Hector this, then this, else Dorothy this. No, I can only use if, else if for conditional statement. It is specially designed for those jobs or those functions. Okay, you cannot replace it with something else, and you cannot use them somewhere else. For example, I can say A is equal to 1 and B is equal to 9. Then I can say A plus B is equal to 10, right? I can do this operation, right? But I cannot say if, is equal to 1 and then else is equal to 9. I cannot use if and else if for this kind of function or this kind of operation, right? Because this is a keyword, Java keyword, and it is reserved. Okay, if I use this, I will get some error, right? But I can use any other word. I can use A, B, C, Z, Hector, Koji, Dorothy, Brian, Louis. I can use any word I want, but I cannot use any keyword without using it for the special purpose or for the special function. Okay, this is keywords. They are reserved. Okay, you see, two of Java's keywords appear in these keywords are written. Okay, let's go back here. So these words, these are words that have special meaning in programming language. They may be used for their intended purpose only. You can only use it for the main purpose only. Keywords are also known as reserved words. So I have explained keywords. I have explained syntax. Okay. The next is operators. Okay. Operators are symbols or words that perform operations. Okay. So usually when you see plus or minus or division or multiplication, multiply, okay, or square root, or, you know, all those mathematical symbols, these are all operators. They are all operators. And you have operand. You use operand. You manipulate operand using operators. How do I mean? Example, I just said A plus B equal to. So this is an operator. This is an operator, Lord. This is an operator. This is also an operator. Okay, now this is an operand. Operand, you use operators to manipulate it, right? You manipulate operand using an operator, A, B, or whatever name of variable, okay? Operand, operator, operand. A plus B equal to 10. A and B are operand, or because they carry value. They are numbers or words that carry value operated by or manipulated by operators. Remember, there's a difference between operand and operator, okay? Operand are usually items of data such as number, you see? So 1 plus 1 equal to, so 1 is operand, plus is operator. Okay, operators, okay, you manipulate operands using operator. Tintong lama? Do you understand the difference between operand and operator? Okay, okay. Oh. Do you understand? Great. So punctuations, on the other hand, is just like in English, you use punctuations, right? To in different parts of the word of sentences, full stop at the end, comma, to differentiate new idea or semicolon. Punctuations are used also in Java, okay? So we'll be looking at different kinds of punctuations and their purposes as we move forward, okay? So punctuations, most programming languages require the use of punctuation characters. These characters serve specific purpose, such as marking the beginning of a line or separating items or making comments or, okay? Like for example, in English, if I write one sentence, you see, this is a sentence written in English language, right? Program-defined names are often called identifiers. At the end of a sentence, you put full stop. This is English language. But in Java programming, at the end of a line, it's not full stop, it is semicolon. This is the syntax rule, okay? Once you write one line, new line, you put semicolon at the end of the line. When you write another semicolon, okay? If you use full stop, it becomes syntax error because you did not follow the rule. If you put comma, it means something else. Full stop, it means something else, okay? So you must follow the rule, all right? Now, programmer-defined names are names that are defined by programmer, okay? So when you're writing a program, you can declare or define any name you want. For example, public class Loyang, or public class Beijing, or public class university, or classroom, or car, or you can also declare the name of a variable like Hector is equal to 20. So it is defined by the programmer. There are words that are being used by programmers like identifiers, okay? So those are not keywords, okay? Programmer defined names, they are not keywords, all right? These words are names that are defined by the programmer. You can define it by yourself, okay? By yourself, it's your choice. They are identified, they are used to identify storage location in a memory and part of programming that are created by the programmer. So you can declare variable. You see, when I say Hector is equal to 5 and Dorothy is equal to 10, then I can say Hector plus Dorothy is equal to. So you see Hector and Dorothy, they are declared by the programmer and given a particular value. So I can use that value to do some calculations, right? So this is what it means, all right? So now I want to give you a simple exercise. Oh. Okay. So look at this. Look at this simple programming code. Okay. I want you to look at this code and find keyword inside this code. Okay. Find the keyword. Find programmer defined name. Find punctuation. Find operator and find operand inside this keyword. See? Find operator, find operand, find keyword, find programmer defined names, and find punctuations. All is inside this code, this code. So I want you to identify if you can, okay? So I will know if you understood what I'm saying, okay? So you can just say, for example, blah, 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 blah is operand. Or operator, something like this. So you can choose, find the operator, operand, keyword, punctuation inside this code. It all exists here. So I want you to answer, to give me your opinion or your answer, which is which inside this code. Okay, you can have a try. What do you think? It's 10 o'clock, that's 6. Should be looking 1 off now. Tintong Lama, do you understand my question? Tintong Lama, do you understand my question? Okay, let's start with, okay, Axelrod says int double, that is this and this is an example of keyword. Okay, Shesheni, correct. Silva says operator is symbol or words that perform operation on one or more operand. Yes, I know the meaning, but I want you to find operator inside this code. Okay, Sylvia, inside this code, can you identify an operator inside this code? Oh, Cassia says this and this is operator. Okay, thank you, Cassia. Very good. Bang, bang, bang. So what about operand? Who can identify operand? What is, give me an example of operand in this code. So we have found some keywords. I want us to find operand. Operand, or variable, or punctuation. Can you find? Hour, pay rate, gross pay. Oh, very good. Shida. These are all operand, okay? Because you manipulate operand using operator. Very good, thank you. So there are many keywords in this code actually. Public, class, static, void, main. These are keywords. Int, double. Okay, these are keyword. Payroll is programmer defined name, okay? Because this is the name of the class. Public class, then what's the name of the class? Payroll. Okay, so you can use any name. Payroll, calculator, Cassia, Sylvia, you can use any name you want, okay? Defined by the programmer based on the choice of the programmer, okay? Punctuations, you can see some punctuations in here. System dot, so you can, we'll look at this later. System full stop is used to combine command. System dot out dot print line. This is a combination of command to display this value, gross pay. You can see another punctuation here, end of the line, semicolon. You can see another punctuation, end of line, okay? These are all punctuations. There are many types of punctuations for different functions, okay? We will learn all the different kinds of punctuations as we proceed with the coding, okay? So finally, I also want to tell you about line and statement, okay? If you look at this code, okay, you can see at the end here, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This you're not going to, this does not belong to you. This belongs to the software, okay, to show how many lines of code are existing in your code, okay? So statements, these are all statements. These are all statements, okay? Each statement will belong to a particular line. So it's easier for you to make reference. Okay, go to line 5. Okay, line 5. What is in line 5? Line 5 is this statement. Integer hours is equal to 40. Okay. Line 9. What is the statement on line 9? This is the statement on line 9. System.out.print line. Okay, see, this is line, this is statement. Okay, so you know the difference between line and statement. Line is the number of line. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So right now this code have 11 lines. Okay, but sometimes you can have lines that are empty, no statement in there. See, line 7 is empty. It's completely okay. Okay, So, but you can know, okay, line 1, line 2, line 3, okay, go to line 4, or go to line 100, or go to line 500, depending on how big your code is, okay? So these are words you must know. Line versus statement, operator versus operand, keywords versus programmer defined names, punctuations versus syntax. Syntax you already know. Punctuations you also already know. Keywords you also already know. Operator, operand, you know. Line and statement also, you know, okay? So you need to know the difference between it all. So we will take some break now, and we will come back after 10 minutes and continue with the rest of the class, okay? So I'll see you guys in 10 minutes. Shesheni, break time. Okay, can we continue with the class? Can we continue? Ni hao, ni hao. Can we continue? Okay. So we have looked at operators, we have looked at operands, we have looked at symbols and all that. So we have Java classes. So when you start talking about classes, you talk about methods, you talk about objects, okay? I know you have done objects in many other courses. An object can be any entity, okay? We'll look at that in details as we'll go deeper into the course. An object can be a person, a car, a class, university, a place, pretty much any noun, a person, a place, an object, okay? And classes are used to group objects, okay? For example, this is a programming class. Why is it a class? There are a group of students inside one class. Okay, so when you see class, you know that there are many things inside that class, or many people, or many objects inside the class. Okay, student class, parent class. Class basically means a group of objects. Okay. And when defining a class in programming, it must have the header, the body. Okay, public class or private class. So for example, if I say public class car, and inside this public class, the attribute of the class or the method of the car can be a car can have four tires, you know, the tires that roll. A car can have a color, a car can have engine, a car can have a driver, a car can have windows, okay? Because it's public, I can have a different class, like Mercedes class, and it can take all the method inside the public class. I can have Audi, Mercedes, Nissan, Mitsubishi, all these cars can inherit or copy the properties of the public class. But if I say private class BMW, it's a private class, so not other classes can copy a private class, okay? So we will look at examples of these as we go deeper into the course. Right now, I just want you to understand the concept, okay? A method is a name, section, or code that also contains a header and a body, okay? Methods contains program statements or attributes that can be copied by other, you know, classes, all right? So let's look at a Java structure. Public class hello. See, this hello is the name. Hello is the name of this class. Class, public class hello, all right? And in a class, after you declare a class, you must have curly braces and close braces. So everything inside this open and close curly braces is considered as the content of the class. Anything in here is considered as the content of the class or the body of the class. Okay. And then you have method, public static void, main method. Okay. Also, method will have curly braces, close curly braces. So if you have inside a class two open curly braces, then you must have also two closed curly braces. If you have one, you must have one close. Three open, you must have three close, or else you have syntax error because you did not follow the rule, right? Okay. So we explained this already in the first part of the class. You have the text editor or your software to do develop your source code. Okay. And then after developing your source code, the compiler will compile it and change it into what? Let me see if you're paying attention. When the compiler compile your source code, it compile it and change it into what? Who can tell me? Anyone? When the compiler compile your source code, your Java code, it translates your Java code into what? The compiler translates Java code into what? Anybody? What is the name? Who can tell me? Compiler converts source code, Java source code into what? Yes, Koji, thank you. Bang, bang, bang. It converts it into bytecode. Then your interpreter will convert your bytecode into what? Anyone? The interpreter will interpret the bytecode into what? Anyone? Interpreter will convert bytecode into what? Anybody who can tell me? Koji says compiler convert source code into bytecode. Correct. So after the bytecode, then interpreter will interpret bytecode into what? Anyone? What do you think? You can have a try. No one knows? Interpreter converts the bytecode into what? No one knows the answer? Come on. I already told you many, many times. Interpreter converts bytecode, translate or interpret your bytecode into machine language or into machine code, into 0 and 1. Yes, Koji. After bytecode, interpreter will interpret it into machine code or machine language, into 0s and 1, and then it will run your program. Thank you, Mr. Koji. Okay, so class loader, a Java program that consists of several pieces of class. Okay. Classes may have several authors and each is compiled separately. Okay. A class loader is a linker called a linker in other programming language, automatically connects classes together and loads the compile code, bytecode into the main memory. Okay. So we already explained this. This is what Koji just mentioned. Your source code will be translated, compiled by your compiler into bytecode, and your bytecode into your machine code or your machine language. Okay, but your bytecode, okay, when you run your bytecode, if it have a problem, then you will have runtime error. Okay, I told you, usually it is during compilation when you run your program that you can see runtime error. But when you're writing your code and you have grammar error, the software can automatically show you syntax error even before you compile, right? Or before you even try to interpret, okay? So that's the difference. So now I want to give you some class exercise, okay? So you have to answer this exercise and submit it before the end of the class. You only have 15 minutes to answer 12 questions. You can see after number 12, end of slide, right? 1 to 12. So I give you 15 minutes to answer it. So all of you have to answer these questions inside your Microsoft Office, okay? So you open your Microsoft Office document. Yes, you write your name, your student ID, and your class, MIS 20101, I think, right? And then number 1, A. Number 2, B. Number 3, C. Blah, 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 up until number 12. A. You save, you submit to the class leader. All of you submit to class leader submit to me, okay? So I will send the file into your WeChat group. Okay, you can check your WeChat. It's already there. And you can start the exercise. You understand? You have 15 minutes. Tintong lama? Okay. So this exercise, it's about everything we learned from first class and today's class. So if you can answer it correctly, which means you understand the class very, very well. So thumbs up, bam, bam, bang. So Jayo, 15 minutes. Give me your answer. You finished? Siri, open parallel desktops.
Which of these would you like? Parallels desktop or Parallels desktop?
Cassia, no, don't send in, oh my God. Don't send in Zoom. Don't submit to me. Submit to class leader, Microsoft document. I already gave instruction, please follow. Okay? Everybody will have their own score, okay? Don't send in Zoom. Save your work in the Microsoft document .doc and send to class leader. Class leader will send to me, all of you, your work. Cassia, why you put all the answer in the public? John. Send your answers to class leader. Don't send to me, okay? Send it to class leader now if you finish. Okay? I don't want to have many files, okay? I just want to have one zip file. All your programs are inside. All your answers are inside, easy for me to mark. So always submit your answer, your reports to class leader. Class leader will collect everything and send to me in one file. Shida. If you have collected everything, you can send to me. Yes, sure. If you've collected everyone, you collect everyone's work, you send to me. Maybe now or at the end of the class. It's okay. So I want to talk a little bit about programming. Okay, share some basic knowledge with all of you. The secret to programming, okay, is practice. The secret to being a good programmer is practice, okay? If you want to be a really good programmer, you cannot depend on the class knowledge only, okay? The job of your teacher is to teach you the basic of any software. But if you really want to be good, you have to practice on your own. There are many resources online, many tutorials online, many exercise and videos online, okay? So you need to practice and practice and practice and develop yourself, okay? That is the big secret. If you only want to depend on the class work to develop your skill, okay, I think your skill will not be so amazing or so great in programming, okay? So that's the biggest secret to programming. The biggest secret to programming is practice. You practice, 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 and you can be a very, very good programmer, okay? Practice from the class resources, practice from the textbook, practice from online materials or resources. You try, you fail, you try again, you try until, okay, you understand. You learn more and understand more with practice. Okay, that's the secret to programming. Okay, your teacher can only teach you the basic or the foundation or the important lessons. Okay, but if you really want to be a good programmer, remember the secret is practice, self-practice by yourself. You practice, okay? You practice what I teach you, you practice what is, you find other resources, other exercise online, you try to do, okay? You practice coding. So the more you practice, the better you become, okay? In computer science, no two people or no two students have the same knowledge or the same skill or the same, okay? Everybody is different. Everybody can save it with their student name, your file, your student name or your student ID number and send to class leader. Or if you don't save it like that, it's okay. Make sure you have your student name and student ID inside the document. That is the most important, okay? So any question, Mr. CC? Yes. So as I was saying, you need to practice Chinese, English name, obviously. I cannot read Chinese, so I don't know who is who. English name and student number. If you use Chinese name, you have to teach me how to speak Chinese so I can read Chinese. Your teacher's Chinese is very, very, very poor, very bad. You cannot read Chinese. So I'm still learning. Very soon I can read and speak. Who knows? Hopefully all of you can teach me. So have you finished? Everyone finished? Ni Wang Changla Ma? Ni Wang Changla Ma? Have you all finished? So actually, this is the end of the class. There's nothing more to learn for today. So try and meet the lab administrator to help you install Java in your computer, your personal computer. Usually I advise all my students to come to lab with their personal computer, okay? And the software installed on their personal computer. It's much easier. Why? Because you can take the work from the class or from the lab, you can take it home and you can continue doing it easily. But if you use the lab computer, you have to find pen drive or something to export your file and export it to your room or, you know. So usually I advise my students to come to lab and do the lab exercises with their personal computer. Okay, but if you cannot, it's okay. The lab computers are also there. Okay, and also usually I advise my students to everybody use the same software, the same version, okay? Not like some people use 2010, some people use 2008, some people use 2028, you know, different version. It can cause problem for some of you, okay? So it's so much easier if everybody use the same version. So go to the network administrator or the computer administrator or the computer unit and get the software, NetBeans, and all of you install it and get it ready for the lab session, okay? So as soon as the labs are ready, we can start our lab work and start some practice exercises, okay? Even I myself, I still need to download the software and install. So hopefully we can have a very good learning experience, okay? Any question? Excuse me. Any question for today's class? Do you have any question? Any concept or anything you don't understand from this week's classes? First class and today's class. Do you have any question? You can ask me now. Any question? For the grouping, members can, how many students are in the group, are in the class in total? Mr. CC, what is the total number of students in the class? How many students are in this class, total? $41. Okay, if 41 people, then one group can be 5. 4, 4, 4, 4, 4, 4, 4. Then one group, you are allowed to have 5 people. So 9 groups will be 4 people. Then one group will be 5 people. Okay. Any other question? If no question, then we can end the class now. Any question? Everything okay? Okay, oh. Okay, okay, oh. Is everyone okay? Okay, okay, oh. Hello, I'm talking. Please respond. You have to reply my question. Respond, reply. Any question? Is everyone okay? Anything you don't understand? All right then, Shesheni. So I'll see you guys in the next class. All right. Bye, Jane. Bye-bye.